Scheherazade, Op. 35, is a symphonic poem composed by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov in 1888 and based on 1001 Nights, sometimes known as the Arabian Nights. This orchestral work combines two features typical of Russian music and of Rimsky-Korsakov in particular: dazzling, colorful orchestration and an interest in the East, which figured greatly in the history of Imperial Russia, as well as Orientalism in general. It is considered Rimsky-Korsakov's most popular work. Background: during the winter of 1887, as he worked to complete Alexander Borodin's unfinished opera Prince Igor, Rimsky-Korsakov decided to compose an orchestral piece based on pictures from 1001 Nights as well as separate and unconnected episodes. After formulating musical sketches of his proposed work, he moved with his family to the Glinky Mavriny dacha, in Nyazhgovizy along the Shereminetskoy Lake. During the summer there he finished Scheherazade and the Russian Easter Festival Overture. Notes in his autograph orchestral score show that the former was completed between June 4 and August 7, 1888. Scheherazade consisted of a symphonic suite of four related movements that form a unified theme. It was written to produce a sensation of fantasy narratives from the Orient. Initially, Rimsky-Korsakov intended to name the respective movements in Scheherazade the Prelude, Ballade, Adagio and Finale. However, after weighing the opinions of Anatoly Lyudov and others, as well as his own aversion to a too definitive program, he settled upon thematic headings, based upon the tales from the Arabian Nights. The composer deliberately made the titles vague, so that they are not associated with specific tales or voyages of Sinbad. However, in the epigraph to the finale, he does make reference to the adventure of Prince Ajib. In a later edition, he did away with titles altogether, desiring instead that the listener should hear his work only as an Oriental-themed symphonic music that evokes a sense of the fairy tale adventure. He stated, "All I desired was that the hearer, if he liked my piece as symphonic music, should carry away the impression that it is beyond a doubt an Oriental narrative of some numerous and varied fairy tale wonders and not merely four pieces played one after the other and composed on the basis of themes common to all the four movements." Rimsky-Korsakov went on to say that he kept the name Scheherazade because it brought to every unregistered trademark's mind the fairy tale wonders of Arabian Nights and the East in general. The music. Rimsky wrote a brief introduction that he intended for use with the score, as well as the program for the premiere. The Sultan Shahryar, convinced that all women are false and faithless, vowed to put to death each of his wives after the first nuptial night. But the Sultana Scheherazade saved her life by entertaining her lord with fascinating tales, told seriatim, for 1001 Nights. The Sultan, consumed with curiosity, postponed from day to day the execution of his wife, and finally repudiated his bloody vow entirely. The grim bass motif that opens the first movement represents the domineering sultan. This theme emphasizes four notes of a descending whole tone scale, EDC bar unregistered trademark. Soon after a few chords in the woodwinds, reminiscent of the opening of Mendelssohn's Midsummer Night's Dream Overture, the audience hears the leitmotif that represents the character of the storyteller herself, Scheherazade. This theme, the second below, is a tender, sensuous winding melody for violin solo, accompanied by harp. Rimsky-Korsakov stated the unison phrase, as though depicting Scheherazade unregistered trademark's stern spouse, at the beginning of the suite appears as a datum, in the calendar unregistered trademark's narrative, where there cannot, however, be any mention of Sultan Shahryar. In this manner, developing quite freely the musical data taken as a basis of composition, I had to view the creation of an orchestral suite in four movements, closely knit by the community of its themes and motives, yet presenting, as it were, a kaleidoscope of fairy tale images and designs of Oriental character. Rimsky-Korsakov had a tendency to juxtapose keys a major third apart, which can be seen in the strong relationship between E and C major in the first movement. This, along with his distinctive orchestration of melodies which are easily comprehensible, assembled rhythms, and talent for soloistic writing allowed for such a piece as Scheherazade to be written. The movements are unified by the short introductions in the first, second and fourth movements, and an intermezzo in Movement 3. The last is a violin solo representing Scheherazade, and a similar artistic theme is represented in the conclusion of the fourth movements. Writers have suggested that Rimsky-Korsakov's earlier career as a naval officer may have been responsible for beginning and ending the suite with themes of the sea. The peaceful coda at the end of the final movement is representative of Scheherazade finally winning over the heart of the Sultan, allowing her to at last gain a peaceful night's sleep. The work is scored for 2 flutes and a piccolo, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets in A and bar in registered trademark, 2 bassoons, 4 horns in F, 2 trumpets in A and bar in registered trademark, 3 trombones, tuba, timpani, bass drum, snare drum, cymbals, triangle, tambourine, tam-tam, harp and strings. The music premiered in St. Petersburg on October 28, 1888, conducted by Rimsky-Korsakov. The reasons for its popularity are clear enough. It is a score replete with beguiling orchestral colors, fresh and piquant melodies, with a mild oriental flavor, a rhythmic vitality largely absent from many major orchestral works of the later 19th century, and a directness of expression unhampered by quasi-symphonic complexities of texture and structure. Movement overview. Adaptations. A ballet adaptation of Scheherazade premiered on June 4, 1910, at the Opéra Copyright Garnier in Paris by the Ballets Russes. The choreography for the ballet was by Michel Fokine and the libretto was from Fokine and La copyright on Baxt, who also designed sets and costumes. The widow of Rimsky-Korsakov protested what she saw as the disarrangement of her husband's music in this choreographic drama. Sergei Prokofiev wrote a fantasia on Scheherazade for piano, which he recorded on piano roll. Passages from the symphonic suite Scheherazade were also adapted for the ballet scene that closes the motion picture song of Scheherazade, in which the lead actress, Yvonne de Carlo, was also the principal dancer. The plot of this film is a heavily fictionalized story, based on the composer's early career in the Navy. He was played by Jean-Pierre Aumont. It has also been arranged for clarinet in bar and registered trademark and piano by Ariel La Cubed Pescali, keeping the E major key and giving the clarinet the solo violin role and a constant dialogue with the orchestra which is represented by the piano. In 2004 Drum Corps International Santa Clara Vanguard used the work as the theme of their program entitled Attribution, the music of Scheherazade with brass arrangements by Key Poulan and percussion by Jim Geisler. The Corps is revisiting the material in 2014 for their program, Scheherazade, Words to Live By with brass arrangements by J.D. Shaw and percussion by Paul and Sandy Renick. Stephen Roberts has written a fantasy on this work for brass band. It was written for the 2013 British Open. Scheherazade is a popular music choice for competitive figure skating. Various cuts mainly from Movement I were widely used by skaters like Michelle Kwan, Kim Yuna, Mao Asada, Carolina Kostner and Midori Ito etc. Notably, American figure skater Evan Lesage used Scheherazade in his free skate and won the gold medal at 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. It was also used by American ice dancers Charlie White and Merrill Davis in their free dance, where they won the gold medal at 2014 Winter Olympics. Recordings, Philadelphia Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski, Victor Recording, 1927. Re-released Biddulph, 1993. Philadelphia Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski, Victor Recording, 1934. Re-released Color, 1997. San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, Pierre Monta, conductor. Recorded March 1942, Paris Conservatoire Orchestra, Ernest Ansermet, conductor. Recorded May 1948, London Philharmonia Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski, 1951. Re-released Testament, 2003. Czech Philharmonic Orchestra, Zdeněk Šilabala conductor, Supraphon LPC. 1955. Re-released Supraphon CD 2012. Morton Gould and his orchestra, London Symphony Orchestra, Pierre Monta, conductor. Recorded June 1957, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Sir Thomas Beecham, Orchestre de la Suisse Romande conducted by Ernest Ansermet. Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra conducted by Antal Doruti, New York Philharmonic conducted by Leonard Bernstein, Philharmonia Orchestra conducted by Paul Klutsky, Chicago Symphony Orchestra conducted by Fritz Reiner, Philadelphia Orchestra, conducted by Leopold Stokowski, 1962. Live recording. Guild GHCD 2403, DISTR. By Albany, Philadelphia Orchestra conducted by Eugene Normandy, London Symphony Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski 1964. Re-released Color 2003. Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, Konstantin Silvestri, conductor, Emmy 1967. Re-released Disky CD 2001. Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Herbert von Karajan, USSR Symphony Orchestra, Evgeny Svetlinov, conductor, 1969, Melodia LP. Re-released 1996 Melodia CD, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, Leopold Stokowski, 1975, RCA Red Seal for LP and CD. Moscow Philharmonic Orchestra, Konstantin Ivanov, conductor. Live broadcast recording from Radio Petersburg, 1978. Concertgebouw Orchestra conducted by Kirill Kondrashin, Moscow Radio Symphony Orchestra, Vladimir Fedosiev, conductor, recorded Moscow Radio Large Hall, Victor 1981. Re-released Victor CD 1995. Orchestre Symphonique de Montréal conducted by Charles Dutoit, Munich Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Sergei Slobodek, Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Lauren Morsel, Czech Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Alexander Rakhbaria Joseph Suk, violin, London Symphony Orchestra conducted by Sir Charles Maceras, Philadelphia Orchestra conducted by Riccardo Muti, London Philharmonic conducted by Andrew Litton, New York Philharmonic, Yuri Temirkanov, conductor. RCA CD 1991. Orchestra of the Bastille Opera conducted by Myung-Un Chung, Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by Seiji Azura, Atlanta Symphony Orchestra conducted by Robert Spino, Kirov Orchestra conducted by Valery Gergiev, Vienna Philharmonic conducted by Gergiev, Gymnastica Kranj Symphony Orchestra conducted by NEJC Ljubljana, Slovenia, 2010. See also, List of compositions by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. References. External links, Scheherazade, Scores at the International Music Score Library Project, Scheherazade, 1001 Nights Retold in a Symphony. Rimsky-Korsakov, Scheherazade on Internet Archive, video, Rimsky-Korsakov Scheherazade Suite. Video, Rimsky-Korsakov Scheherazade Ballet.